Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Harpy Stitch. I'm Amy, and this is my corner of the internet all about cross stitch. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. It's so nice to see you today. It is March 8th, Sunday morning. I got up this morning. I was like, okay, walked into my kitchen, getting my morning stuff, and I realized my clock on my microwave and my oven still say 4:38 in the morning, but I get up at 5. I was like, oh, we must have sprung forward an hour. I completely forgot that we were springing forward this weekend, which is probably why my school district scheduled our midwinter break here. But anyway, so I've time traveled today already. I hope you've been well. Things are still kind of crazy. Yeah, but yay, women's hockey. Way to go, USA Hockey. And Alyssa, gold medal, fabulous. The American women really crushed the Olympics this year. So that was fun. Watched the last episode of Joe Bob regular season on Shudder. Apparently there are going to be 4 more specials and then no more Joe Bob on Shudder. Though it seems they are moving to a different platform, so maybe they're going to have their own site or something instead of going through Shudder. We are kind of sad about that, but hopefully we'll get that. Not enough. Excuse me, brain. Slow down, Amy. I got a really bad cold. That was not fun. But I got better. Then my husband got it. He didn't get it as severe as I did, but his lasted longer. Still got a little bit of runniness going on in the nose, but I think that might just be because one day it's 50 degrees, the next day it's 27, one day it's 47 degrees, the next day it's 23. The weather has been going up and down. We've had rain the last week, we've had snow, it's been crazy. I have green grass outside my window, which I frequently don't have in Minnesota in March. Our pile of snow from the shoveling this winter is almost gone. I am not going to say there's not going to be any snow because it's Minnesota and we frequently get first spring and second spring or faux spring, and before it settles down into actual spring and we get the nice weather. Got to see the kid this week. Their usual day off is Wednesdays, so hubby and I drove down there. Spent most of the day. We played Munchkin, watched a movie, just hung out. Kid and I usually go for a walk when the weather's nice, and it was, so we went for a walk. Let's see. I did have a doctor's appointment for my eye. If you've been with me since the beginning, you might remember that I had a hemorrhage in my left eye, and there was a time I was a pirate. So if you want to see me be a pirate, you can go back a couple of years. But they dilated my eyes real hard on Tuesday, and it's been stable. They're like, well, you've been stable for 6 months. You don't need to come in for another 6 months. So I only have to go twice a year now to have it checked, apparently. And they might even push it out further if it stays stable. Still have the fuzzy spot in the middle of my vision. That's never going to go away, but it is much smaller than when it started. It does make it difficult to get good prescriptions. And I need to find eye doctors that have actual people, because telehealth visits do not work well when you have special conditions with your eyeballs. So I do need to do that soon, but I have to recover from the car repairs last month or the end of January, beginning of February. Anyway, I do feel more rested after spring break. I am not ready to go back to work tomorrow. I am still trying to figure out, I have to do for one of my college classes, I have to do 3 3D science lessons. And I have a concept of what I want to do for each lesson and like the order I would want to do the lessons in. But I haven't figured out how I'm going to do the lessons yet. And I've got a week to do the first one. But my goal is tomorrow it's a new trimester. So at school we will be just going over expectations, do a few get to know you kind of fun things. So I'm hoping that later today I can work on it a bit and get it started. And I'm just going to kind of plan my space unit while I do my homework. And if I can get those done together, then I will reduce my workload because I'll be getting a twofer. So I'm hoping to do that. Yeah. So other than being sick and getting over it, not much going on. Still working night school and my regular job and everything. There is news that there's it is a contract negotiation year here in Minnesota. So every 2 years, school districts and employees negotiate for new contracts. So we have so far this year been working without a teaching contract. But it looks like there is a tentative agreement between the district and the union. And the union was voting on whether they were going to accept the contract last week before the break. So I'm hoping that we will find out what the total is and whether we will get, whether the contract that the district offered was accepted by the union. If it is, then we should be getting our new pay rate, and we will get back pay for the new pay rate to the beginning of the year. So the way it works is every year you get a little bit of a bump, but on contract years you don't even get that for like your year of service increase, which is usually just like $200. Because they don't want to adjust your pay scale twice, apparently. I don't know why this is a big deal, but that's the way it works. So what'll happen is that I will, instead of them bumping it up like 200 for just the year of service, what they'll do is they'll go back to the beginning of the year, and I will still get my year bump, but it'll be on the new pay scale. So what they'll do is they'll bump it up to whatever my agreement is for the year. So let's say you're year 7 last year, and then this year I'd be year 8. So instead of paying me year 7 to year 8 for the beginning part of the year, they'll just, whatever the raise is for that year 8 year, I will get that all the way back to August. I'm not sure when that'll hit. I'm not sure if they made the agreement. It might be this next Friday's paycheck on Friday the 13th. If so, most of that's going in the bank to cover what we had to spend on the car. I don't know how much it'll be. I think they were talking like a 2.5% raise this year and a 1.5 next year, and then some changes to how much the district contributes to insurance, etc. And I know there's going to be some changes to our schedule, so we're not going to have one long day. I don't know, because I'm not in the union. Sadly, you can't know what the negotiations are until it's made public. So, but it looks like we might have a contract, and I will get back pay through the beginning of the school year. Kitty, leave Daddy's stuff alone, please. He's crawling on my husband's little table where he keeps all of his food stuff. Dwemer, come be on the TV show. Come on, Mr. Kitty. He's not gonna come over. I have my stitch totals for February for you. It is a little low because on one of the projects that I was working on, I didn't want to bother to count. I just wanted to stitch. So I waited till it was all done and stitch. But I had done a little bit in January, a little bit in February, and finished it up in March. So my stitch total that I counted up was 6,375 for the month of February. And as I said, that's a little on the low end, and my stitch count for March will be a little bit high because some of the stitches I counted this month I did last month. But I'm not worried about it. Oh, did you see him? He was checking to see if I had water in my cup, and I don't. I'm still doing caffeine this morning. What are you doing knocking stuff over, Mr. Kitty? So we have a treadmill, and it's folded up against the wall. It's a nice one of those foldy. It's old, but it folds up. And he likes to jump and get up on top of it and attack the little emergency pull thing. But it's right next to our shelf that has a bunch of canned goods on it. And I had to take a piece of cardboard and tape it up to the side of the shelf so that he couldn't crawl from the hey, don't you do it. Get down. He's on top of it right now, in fact, trying to get to the cookie jar that has no cookies in it. It's a cookie jar Ace made Dad when she was little. But I had to put a cardboard so that he couldn't crawl through, because it's just a wire shelving unit with no sides. And I got sick of him. Like, he's getting to the point where he's crawling on there and knocking the canned goods off. Oh, Dwimmer! Excuse me. Alright, he is no longer trying to knock canned goods off the shelf, because now he's figured out how to reach around the cardboard. Oh wait, I may have spoken too soon. I don't know why he wants to get on the shelf so bad. Alright, I'm going to have to actually manually go get him down. Alright, as soon as I stood up, he jumped down, of course. I don't know what he's up to. Oh, now he's going to go into an open project bag. But I'm not worried about it because all the bobbins in there are in a box. So if he wants to stick his head in the plastic bag, he can do that. Alright. Alright, let's see. Anything? I'm checking my notes here to see if there's anything I wanted to talk about that I have not talked about. Alright. I do feel more rested. I got some rest during spring break. Hey, kitty, stop messing with stuff. Come here. Come be in my show. I will pet you and you can get virtual loves from other strangers. You know you like loves. Alright, so let's get started. He's such a goob. Anyway, I have an FFO for you. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen it. This is probably my most popular post. This is Welcome to Camp Crystal Lake by the Witchy Stitcher. I started it on April 5th of last year and finished it on October 17th. So, there were two versions of this. There's one with the mask. I chose this one. This is actually for my husband. Now, I haven't put my hanger on it yet. But I was looking for something that looked kind of like a sign that you would see outside at a camp. And I found this little board at Walmart, and when I put it on, I thought it was dry enough, but it wasn't, but it's smeared. So what I do is I have these little scrapbook stickers and I stick them on the back of my projects. So I remembered when I made them and everything like that. Because if years from now, I will not remember. So my husband preferred the one of the lake. So this is on just 14 count oatmeal Aida. I thought it was appropriate because it looks more like wood. So and then I went and found some upholstery tacks and I shoved those in the corner. There are a couple of things I would do differently to finish a finish like this. Like, it's a little uneven, and that's okay. I was trying to make sure I had the placement of the pens right, and I wasn't sure where I'd need them, and I wanted to have enough for it to grab the fabric. I did end up putting non-acidic double-sided sticky stuff underneath, and then I did fraying on the edges, and some of the frays are a little bit bigger, and as you can see, it's a little closer here than it is here, but part of that's because of the blood splatter. And then I went ahead and I had some fabric fusion, and I put it on, because theoretically this should stop, not fray, but I just wanted to be extra precautious. I think you can see a little bit of shine from the glue there, but that's okay. I don't know if you can tell, I used for the blood splatter red, I used a toile in 2 different shades to kind of give it a little sparkly. I don't think this will end up hanging behind me because it is for my husband, so it'll probably end up in his studio. But this is my finish, my FFO of Welcome to Camp Crystal Lake by the Witchy Stitcher. It was a super easy, quick stitch. It only took me so long because I was working on tons of other projects too. Yeah, so that is my finish. Let's hold it up here a little bit longer. Let me get the hoop out of the... Oh, I can't get the hoop out of the thing. Let's hold this up a little bit longer. Maybe it'll be my thumbnail. So yeah, Camp Crystal Lake. I want to thank everybody who liked this on Instagram. It's probably my most popular post, and it's probably gotten the most likes of anything I've ever posted. So I am very thrilled with it, even if it is not perfect. Next time I will make sure I have the fraying part done before I try to attach it to get my spacing more perfect. But that's okay. It's a little crooked, but it's all right. I think it turned out really well for a first attempt at a new finishing method. All right, next, I have a finish. Well, finish for now. I am doing the Round Robin, the Stitching Connection 2025, hosted by Jason X Stitch. And I have finished we are just on our second round. So everybody's finished now. We've got to mail things out. I will probably do that next weekend after I get paid. All right. So I am doing Cindy's. This is Blue Morpho by Ink Circles. We each picked a ink circles because we were looking for something relatively small so we wouldn't get stressed out about size, since we all like work and stuff. I think only maybe one of us. And now, excuse me, I got to adjust there we go. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, excuse me, I'm thirsty. I like my dragonfly. So I am not sure. It is a tan fabric. I am not sure what the name is. I think it's the called for size. This was actually a really easy stitch. This is the thing I did not count properly. This last, I just waited till I was done. So this is Cindy's stitching, and she used this is the green is 730 from DMC, and the Tropical Ocean from Gast is in the leaves. I didn't want to change the color in here because there was no clear place to just flat out quarter it for the swirly bits. So it is kind of, how that works is a little bit crooked. So I left the colors in there the same. Now, this is her butterfly. I didn't want to do the same color, so I shifted my butterfly. I don't know what color she used. I used Summer Sky, that's the darker blue, and Blueberry Tart. And then I did my initials with one strand right there in the green to kind of have it blend in a little bit more. I wanted to, we're initialing each other's projects, but I wanted it to kind of blend in. So that is Blue Morpho, and so this is done for me. And then I can't remember whose project I'm getting next. I'd have to go look. But yeah, it looks really cute. It was an easy stitch. I can't... Megan, who was stitching on mine, made some different choices than I was expecting. I kind of gave a list of colors and kind of what my vision was. She went completely different direction, but it looks great. She's done. I will be getting, I think it's Megan's next. I know which project it is, but I can't remember who the project belongs to. But this is super fun. I don't know if I would do a round robin every year. I don't think Jason X Stitch has started one for 2026 because he's doing 2 groups for the round robin. So I think he might take a break from hosting another one for a bit. And maybe he'll just do an ornament exchange again this year or something. Oh, sorry. Flosstube itchy nose. I don't know. All right. Now to whips. Sorry, I put my notes over here. I keep meaning to transfer my written notes for Flosstube into a Google Doc because I have my big screen right over behind the camera, and then I could just read it from there, and then I'm not looking away from the camera. It would make it much easier. But I've been so busy with work and jobs school and jobs, work and college, that I haven't had time. I started it and then other things have taken over. So one day, maybe that will be what I do. In fact, when I'm done with this, I have a discussion post to make for my class. I need to do some data crunching for work, and then probably work on preparing my slideshow for tomorrow and what kind of activity we're going to do. Get my bell ringer set up for the next series of weeks or whatever. And yeah, so I don't know. We shall see what I get up to today. Oh, I need to bake a pecan pie. Gotta do some laundry. And work on some cross stitching because I don't know. Grades are final grades are due on the 13th. So that means that I've got to double check all my grades, see which kids need to have stuff excused, etc. Tweak any tweaking I need to do for things. But it's going to be a very busy week. But then after one full week, we get the 20th off again. So and I think we have some e-learning days in there, which is one reason I need to check my calendar before I set up my bell ringers. But we shall see what my life brings. All right, whips. Sorry, I'm rabbiting a bit this morning. First, I'm going to show you Old World Map by Hade. This is a heritage art piece, like it's an old thing that they charted that the artist is long dead. So this is where I am at. Maybe after I finish college in my portfolio, I will start editing these and doing the before and after pictures. If you can, there's a little cherub guy in the thing. He's leaning. There's his head. He's leaning through the basket here. I do have this printed out. I should have grabbed that, but I didn't. And that's just on me, and I'm not leaning out of the frame that totally. I started this on March 15th of last year. Gosh, it's so weird to say 2025 was last year. I have oh, brain. I lost my train of thought. It just jumped off the rails. All right, it is on 25 count Lugana that I repurposed from a really old project. I did get some frogging on this done. I don't even want to know how many stitches that is. If you've been with me before, I talked about how when I first discovered there was pattern maker programs, I was using PC Stitch. I just got Win Stitch it, but I've only made one thing since I got it. This was a stained glass window picture I found on the internet like 30 years ago, before Google Images, and it was actually an advertisement, and it was not the best picture to pick, but I thought the stained glass was beautiful, so I did it anyway. And I was super excited, and then it just has been sitting. So I'm slowly working, and this will fit on here. I measured it like 3 times. So I'm doing it 1/1, which I think you can't even tell. I mean, there's some missing piece. Like right there, I had to order that for color right there. It's $38.59 because Michaels hasn't had it for months. So I finally broke down and ordered it from 123 Stitch. I have that and some other flosses coming. And I just ordered a pattern yesterday because I wanted it to come all together, but that is okay. So I am using this for March Madness. It is one of my pieces that I've already finished, my 2026 stitches for 2026. So I took a few of those and I am doing March Madness with them for fandom. I am now at 4,639 stitches out of 169,200 stitches, and I'm at 2.74%. I didn't get the max color or the extra super size, and I am beginning to wonder with how muddy some of this is, but it's okay. It's all right if it is not 100% detailed. But look at that. I'm just on my first whip and we're 24 minutes in. Anyway, but I'm making good progress. So for fandom, for March Madness, I was going to do 16 different projects, and then I'm like, wait, no. I am, so what I did is I picked 4 projects that I've already reached my 2026 2,026 stitches on for 2026 to get a little bit more progress. This is one of them. And it, so what I did is I just went 1, 2, 3, 4. It is Wisdom by Haid, Old World Map by Haid, Frogwarts, and what's my fourth one? My Shawshank Redemption sampler that I have to work on to help me get it motivated to get it done. So I've already, today is day 8, and I am working on Frogwarts later. But I worked on this last night and got a few stitches in. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm taking those 4 projects and I'm trying to use March Madness to get a little extra. This next week with grades, major assignment due for college, I'm probably not going to get to the stitching as much, but that's okay. Life has to come before stitching, right? Though we wish it did not. All right, next for you is Reindeer Roundup by Joan Elliott, and I'm just going to show you because it's the cover picture of this book. I started this on August 13th of 2025. I have finished my 2026 stitches since you saw it. I thought about putting this on my Sodenheim 16, which is what they're calling our March Madness this year since we're doing musicals as our theme. But I chose to just narrow it down to 4 projects instead. And I just worked on this like for 2 weeks straight, and I was like, I want to work on something else. It is on 14 count navy with snow by Fabric Flair, which is a printed fabric. So that side has stuff on it. This side does not. It has 23 colors. I'm doing it 2/1. I did have to, Kreinik is out like every frickin' where, right? So there is a gold Kreinik or Citron in his on his coat here, and I couldn't get it, so I have some Petite Treasure braid to match coming from 1, 2, 3 Stitch as well. So I was working on the reindeer. I got tired, so I worked my way over here. It was kind of hard to count without the antlers. I needed a more visual reference point for the antlers. Because unfortunately, this is Ada, which is Ada is the called for. 14 count Ada is the called for. I just changed the color. But I was struggling with the antlers. So I was like, I should just get over to Santa and give me a solid base. So I worked mostly on his coat. This green part here, pain in the butt to count. It was so easy to get off. I had to frog a couple of things and everything. And then I went back and finished his head. Because I was having so much trouble counting these green in here for the holly, I went in and worked on this reindeer's head some more. His eyeballs in, I just have to backstitch. And then, so I could get down here and get a good base. I think I'm going to have to go work on the reindeer again some more so that I don't leave all the brown and tan for that. And there are supposed to be white beads on this for the snowflakes that are falling. And I am going to put some of those in. I might not put as many since there's the dots. And I do know you can kind of see, like, you can see that there's a white dot under here. And a couple of spots up. That's actually got to be filled in with, like, Kreinik or a bead. But you can kind of see the dots through. But I'm going to choose to make that, say that that's just some snow on top. And the more I fill in and the tighter the stitches get as I put more in, it's less obvious. Actually, yeah, that is so. But it's fine. I wanted to try something different, and maybe I should have added another thread to make the coverage a little fuller to help cover up those dots. I don't know. I'm not picking it and starting over. It's just going to live where it lives. All right, Frogwarts. So I have already signed up for Frogwarts year 7. I have been to 2. I went to year 6 and year 5. Year 5 was my first year. It is super fun. I think it's already closed. You can't sign up unless you're on the wait list and somebody cancels. But I'm really, 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 really hoping I can figure out a way to go to year 8, which will be an in-person retreat, so that everybody who's met each other virtually can kind of get to see each other in person. I don't know if it'll happen, but that's my goal. I think that would be a great first in-person retreat, is kind of meet the people I've met virtually in person. So this is by the Black Needle Society, if you don't know. I think everybody does. I started this on 5/4/2024. It's on 36 count stonewash Seraphim. It is 2/2. And I would like to finish years 1 through 4 before Frogwarts this year, which is in July. I think that is a way overly ambitious project with all the other things I want to get done. But the nice thing is that once I finish my 26 for 2026, I don't know. It probably won't happen. But I've been trying to double dip my weeklies with my 26 for 2026, because last year I didn't finish the 25 for 2025. So I would like to get those bonus points. All right, so this is I've been working on year 1. So I got more of the Alamora spell in. I can't ever say those things. I finished the turban. I got these every flavored beans done. I got a little bit more of the broom filled in. And I got some of the key, and I used the étoile for the key. And I'm going to just work on... year 1 is the closest one to being finished, so I'm going to work on that one first. I still need to get in touch with Nautalota Stitches and figure out why my footprints aren't lining up, or how to fudge them, because there's only one space between here and there. There's like 2 spaces here, so it might just be I gotta fudge the height or something, because I really like the little footprints going around like the Marauders map. So that's year 1. That's the only thing I've worked on since you saw it last time. I am going to flip this over. Ooh, let me get this cat hair off Neville first. I do need to think I need to go back and put some couching in on the strings for the stretchable ears. But I finished year 5 and year 6. This was the first time I finished this during the retreat last year. Which was the first time I finished the piece during the retreat. I was very excited. I thought it was my first retreat finish, but then I realized, oh wait, no. I had the curse project that was like not even enough stitches to count as a prompt. And like, I don't even think it had 200 stitches. But that's the 2 that I finished. And I am trying to finish year 1 first. Then I'll go to year 2, because it's got the next. And then I don't know if I'll go to year 3 just because it's next in order, or go to year 4 because I think it's got more stitches. I might not. I don't know. The night bus is pretty solid. But I do wish I had made all of the spell names sparkly, but I didn't think of it, and I am not going back and redoing it. So, it is good. What's next? Shawshank Sampler. This is one of my March Madness pieces, which I mentioned earlier. The last one I made sold, so now it's time to get it. I have gotten in my 2025 stitches on it, and now it's one of my March Madness pieces. I have finished all of the words. One side of the green decoration. I am going to work on this next. And then I've got a little bit of the border in. The border, once I get, it's pretty easy. So, yep. I've shown this one a bunch of times, because I've made it a bunch of times. But yeah, so I'm going to try to like have one on the go all the time, so I don't end up like I did last year at the beginning of this year. Okay, last year, 2025, beginning of this school year, I had 3 orders right in a row. Boom, 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 boom. And then one person canceled because they thought it was taking too long. But I don't want to end up in that situation again. So, this is one of my favorites. It is designed by Maroomy Designs. It is in honor of Iranian women and their strength and courage. I was also doing this for the Carla's Stitch Me Sayings Wall of Women. This is Sapita, And when Maroomy designed it, she designed that you're supposed to stitch the white pieces. Okay, the parts here. Okay, I think this is a beautiful piece about the strength of women. I know, and right now, it seems very appropriate because the women in Iran are going through a really tough time. So I started this on August 14th, 2023. And if I had stitched it the way Maroomy designed it, I probably would already be done. Because I'm pretty sure I've stitched more stitches in it than the original design has altogether, if you stitch as instructed. It is on 32 count Yellowstone by Bling Designs. And I am doing this in DMC 4240 Midsummer Night. And I'm doing it 1/1. And this is one of my March whip goes. I've already done my 2 days, but I haven't hit my 2026 stitches for the year. So this week for the weeklies, I'm still going to use this one and the other one until I hit. So I've done 2 days because all my whip goes are just to do 2 days. So I filled in a bunch of this over here. And you're like, why is it so stripy? I actually am doing that deliberately. So the yellow I thought would look beautiful with the sun rays. So instead of stitching the white, I'm stitching the negative space. And what I wanted is I wanted it to look kind of like the sky is at sunrise or sunset when it gets that weird purpley pink bluey color where there's kind of the stripes in it. So I'm not doing one X at a time like you usually do with variegated. I'm going across and then going back. And the stitches are super teeny tiny, but I think like just a tiny bit of the color that's underneath one way sticks out, so it adds a little bit more depth of color. And then that's a little star in the night sky or dawn sky, something like that. So I am going to keep working on her until I get my 2026 stitches. So I should finish that up this week or next week. It'll depend. I think I'm a little bit closer with my other March whip go. Because what I did is I tried to double dip with my whip go. Oh, and this is also for Whip Warriors this month. Because I'm doing my Whip Warriors and my whip go with the same pieces for the month. So whatever is called for whip go is what I use for my Whip Warriors in the Whip Warriors group. And I haven't hit my 1500 stitches, partly because I forgot to take my password picture the first round of 200 stitches with this one and the other project. I did it both times, so I missed like 200 stitches each. So, but she's looking lovely. All right. This is my oldest whip is next. It is Wisdom by Haid, artwork by Cherry Gerhardt. This is a gift for my kid to replace their baby stocking, needlepoint baby stocking that's falling apart, which I need to put in a special box. I started this on August 11th, 2021. It's on 25 count Ada. I'm doing it 2/1. And I know people say, well, if you change to 1/1, you won't notice, but you will notice because the coverage here is so thick. I think it would definitely, and it's okay if a stocking's a little thick and stiff. There are 86 colors in this. I have finished my 2026 stitches on this, and I am now using it for March Madness. I got like 500 stitches in this one day, like over the break. That is not happening again for the rest of March. I am now at 16,926 stitches out of 136,612, and I have hit 12.39%. So I have filled in a lot of this right here. You can see the beak of the one raven. I've gotten a little bit up here. This has gotten filled in a bit. So I am hoping to make good progress on this. This is, my kid's like, well, there's a lot of stitches in that, Mom. It's stitchful. So it's okay that it takes you a little while to get it done. So, and I did check, they still want it, even though, but I'm really looking forward to getting to the diadem. well, this is technically the diadem, but the jewel part of the diadem. So, yes, I think it's looking pretty good. My brain, I know I measured this and it's going to be big enough, but my brain is like, what about the toe? Is it going to fit? But I know it will because I measured very carefully. All right, that was Wisdom. I'm making good progress on that. I have a plan for a new start, but I'm not doing new starts anytime soon. There's one thing I would like to start and get done before Frogwarts, but we shall see. I am one block away because I finished my Whip Go, so I have the top row of my Whip Go. There's one block left, so if I finish that, I'll get a bingo, and then that will be probably a new start. I'm trying to whip down a bit, and I have plenty of projects, and with plenty of work to be done on them. So I do have at least one new start planned for sure for this year, which I will talk about again in a minute because I've talked about it before. So my last whip for you is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. I started in the upper left-hand corner. Because all of these are on different pieces of paper, I wanted to make sure that I had the alignment right. And I was a little worried about starting in the middle here, like I usually do. And I have found that I don't like to do a bottom right, because then as you move up and to the left, a lot of times you get that weird pull. But if I start down here and I go this way, if I'm working my way that way, then when it does pull, it just makes the stitch look neater rather than stretch it out in the corner. So I am working on this block. I'm really enjoying this project. I feel like it's going pretty fast. So I started this on May 26, 2025. I'm doing it on 40 count Inca by Fox and Rabbit, and it is 1/1. I didn't count up all the colors because each block has a different set of colors, and they don't all, I'm going to have to kit each block separate, which is one of the reasons I just decided to go one block at a time. I did think about doing them each separately, but then I thought about all the extra fabric and the extra expense, and I just decided to stick with doing it one. Now, this fabric, oh, you can actually see it. Look at that. It's a little bit more orangey pink than it's showing at the moment. It's not this dull. Oh, there we go. That's about the right color. This is so gorgeous. I love this fabric. It's just buttery. It's awesome. All right, let me fold this back up so I can show you the stitching. All right, I've actually gotten quite a lot of progress because this is my Whip Go call that I'm also using for Whip Warriors. And I have filled in this door. I've gotten started over here. I got the snake's eye in. I got in another couple of, I've got a lot more of the hill filled in. So, oh, itchy nose again. So this is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I know there are lots of stitches in this, but I think it stitches up pretty quickly. You do have to be careful when you're doing 1/1 on such tiny count not to pull the threads weird so that you split it. But, yeah, I think it's looking beautiful. And, I actually like the contrast. I mean, it's subtle, but I really like the way the kind of yellow-green grass kind of interacts with the yellow of the fabric. So that is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I am also going to be working on this some more for my weeklies. I have met my 2-day goal on this as well. They happen to be in the same row. But I haven't reached my 2,600 stitches yet, so I'm going to continue to work on this in Sapita this month as my weeklies until that is done, because I can double dip weeklies with my yearly. And then maybe if I get on my 2026, I'll switch to doing monthlies and my roll of the lifetime things. Actually, I just need to do one of those. I just don't have time to do those two with my school and work schedule. So, all right, those are all my whips. And we're 44 minutes in. Yay! I rabbited a few times, but we're doing all right. So plans. I am going to be hosting a sale starting on July 21st, July 4th. It is the US's 250th birthday. I don't usually freak out about market because I have a very fixed budget. But I was like, oh, I want to go see what's going on. I won't probably buy anything, but I'm going to see all the new stuff coming out because that's fun, even if you don't get to buy it, right? You just throw it in your wish list for when you can. Excuse me. So I did put in an order for the floss for this project. It is on its way. I was hoping that they would hold my whole order until this was available and then just like ship it all together, but they didn't. But it's okay. It'll get here. My threads will get here on Wednesday. And then 123 Stitch sent me an email that said that my Benevolence banner was ready to purchase. And so I ordered that yesterday. So this is Benevolence. The Banner of Benevolence is what it's called, but I call it Benevolence Banner because I'm lazy. By Silver Creek Samplers. I am going to be hosting a sale for this called the #Benevolence sale. Because this is what I want my country to be like. And I am not usually a patriotic stitcher. But I reached out to Wendy of Stitch in the Matrix, and she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I will join you. And then I reached out to Jason X Stitches, and I was like, hey, I was planning on doing this. Is there any way you'd want to join? He's like, you read my mind. And I think Jess is doing it. Do you know Jess? I'm like, no, I don't know Jess. Who's Jess? And he said, oh, she's of Sloan Stitches. I was like, oh, I haven't run into her Flosstube. So I went and started watching her Flosstube. I started from the beginning, which is probably one of the things I'm going to do today while I do chores and stuff before my husband gets up. And she's like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll join. And then I've been catching up on her Flosstube. Great projects. Lots of Halloween-y stuff, which, I like. But so she's going to be joining us. And if you would like to join us, please join in. Let's see. I'm going to read it again. All people have value. Beliefs are personal. Rights are universal. Peace begins with a smile. There is beauty and strength in diversity. The strength of community lies within the unity of its neighbors. Freedom exists only if it applies to everyone. The world is full of friends who we have yet to meet. Our differences make us beautiful. Choose to be curious, not judgmental. We can all strive to be better human beings. Kindness is free. Love will always win. So this, I am basically trying to make, this is what the U.S. ideal to me is, and I'm trying to manifest it by stitching this. It's a prayer, it's a spell, however you want to phrase it, just a hopeful endeavor. I'm not much for prayer, but again, I'm going to probably harp on this a lot. Harpy Stitch. When I think of the American values, I think of quotes from Superman. I think of quotes from Captain America. Those are what I think of. And this is everything they embody, right? The taking care of others, fighting for others, being embracing of others who are different. I mean, it amazes me how many people love Superman and forget he is the biggest immigrant story, or one of the biggest immigrant stories in our culture. Like, he is an undocumented alien, not from another country, from outer frickin' space, who embraces the American ideal of the fighting for the little guy, of justice for all, of world peace, all of these things that, all of these things, right? He was adopted by Ma and Pa Kent. Like, he's an orphan. He's a refugee. He's all of these things. And so many people who love him ignore that part and then treat people who are refugees like crap. I don't know. And if you are not familiar with comic books, maybe these analogies don't mean anything to you, but Captain America, there is a storyline where mutants are, they're kind of parallel storylines, but they touch on it in the Marvel movies where they want all the superheroes to register. And Captain America, who is a super soldier from World War II, leaves the Avengers, and they did this in the movie, and they left out a lot of stuff, but because he's like, no, you don't register people. As soon as you start registering people, there is a problem, right? Like, he's like, I'm not participating in this, and if this is what it takes to be an Avenger, I'm gone. He's like, no, I'm not getting on some list and telling them all about me with all my weaknesses and stuff, like, so they can take me out if they want. This is fascist bullshit. Pardon. Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, is all about punching Nazis. He's all about being an honest American and doing the right thing. He's a bit of a Boy Scout, which people accuse Superman of as well. But, like, he's got a good ethic. He's about the ideals of America, So, in current times, Steve Rogers has become one of my more of a favorite comic book character. I meant earlier in the week to have some sort of wonderful quote from some favorite comic book character or anti-fascist statement to put on here, and I totally forgot to look it up. But I can tell you that, fascism is bad. I don't think anybody needs to be told that, but I will maybe share another quote, because another thing that we are struggling with a lot these days is fear. Excuse me, I've got to sneeze. I'm going to pause. All right. Done with that. I do have one piece of haul to show you, but I want to do my quote first before I forget. And I am going to it's one of my favorite quotes of all time, but I always slightly misquote it. So, I should have done this while I was paused. There it is. I actually turned this into a cross-stitch pattern. So this is from Dune by Frank Herbert. If you have not read that, I recommend it. It is a sci-fi political drama. And I read it after watching David Lynch's version of it. And I read it when I was 14, and it is one of my all-time favorites. Like, I hunted down a book of his poetry related to the Dune universe. On eBay, it was only listed in one paperback copy of one of the books from the Dune series. And people told me for years it didn't exist. And I found it on eBay multiple times. And when it was cheap enough, I've finally bought a copy. So, here is my quote for you to keep in mind during these trying times. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it is gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. I'm not telling you not to be afraid. But I am saying that you have to learn how to deal with your fear and let it move on sometimes, right? Don't live in it all the time. It's not good for you. So, that is my quote from literature for you today. I used it tons when I tend to use an abbreviated version that's not quite, I can rattle it off, but I always miss some of the wording exactly. So, I think it's probably the version from the David Lynch movie, actually. But try to find some peace, find some happiness, find something that brings you joy. Don't let the bastards get you down, to quote Handmaid's Tale. I can't do it in the Latin, sorry. But, yeah. So just keep going, people. And I think I bumped the camera and I'm slightly crooked. But, so my piece of haul. I do some stupid games to enter chances for contest. And I won a $25 gift card to Etsy. So I was like, ooh, cool. I don't need any patterns, but I could use a new project bag or some fabric. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, I don't really have a project that I plan on starting that I need fabric for, etc. So I went and I looked for project bag. Now, I've only really bought one project bag before, and it was a Little Boat 88 project bag, but they're in Canada and they're not shipping to the US right now. I can't imagine why. So I went and I looked for shipping to US, and this is one that grabbed my eye. I love it because if you're not paying attention, it just looks like random swirls. But if you look really close, look, there's skulls, which I think is super cool. So it took me a while to figure out which one I wanted. This is from Lambies Needleworks. I'll put that up here. They have an Etsy store. The zipper pull is a little lamb, and he's even got a little butt. Look at that. Oh wait, wrong side. Look at that little lamb butt. Look at the little poofy tail. I did have an option of getting a purple zipper, but I chose to stick with the black. Now, I like subtle. And I am going to do this, see if the camera will pick it up without the... And that is the inner lining. I haven't put anything in it yet because I wanted to show it off before I stuck anything in it. And I don't know what I want to put in it yet. But I thought this was such a cool... Like, I hadn't seen this fabric before. I've got some fabric. I need to make some project bags, but I've been too busy. And I'd rather stitch when I have limited time. So this is my haul. I hope you guys have a good week. I hope you will enjoy your time. I'm trying to do 2 sentences at once and it's not working. And I hope you will join me in my Benevolence Sal for the 250th birthday of America. Yeah. Anyway, I am going to leave you here. I hope you get some good stitching time. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube-y things. Let me know what you were working on while you watched. If you've got any cool projects, if you're working on any of the things I'm working on. I know a couple of people are doing Old World Map, and plenty of people are doing Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. But I hope to see you again in 2 weeks. So long, and thanks for all the stitch. Bye!